not quite as sensitive. I pulled him around Webb City on a horse cart. He beat me with a paddle. I did many other things that would not be considered appropriate. Anyway, George, thank you so much for being the man that I am today. Good evening. I'm Doug Myers, and I'm here representing Bill's daughters, Lisa, Lynn, Leslie, Gretchen, and Ann. They're sorry they cannot attend this evening. They flew into Kansas City and with intentions to drive down, but were concerned that they would be stuck in Kansas City due to a snowstorm, so they did not make it. So they sent their apologies. You got that? They sent the speech to me and said, please read it just as is, which I will. And so I've got a few comments before we get there. Tell a few things here. Briefly, I'd like to recognize my brother Max and his wife, and Nick and his daughter Victoria. My brother David couldn't be here, and we're first cousins. Len and Leslie, Lisa, the girl who's married to our dads were brothers. I'd first like to give you our Webb City bona fides. Bill, Dad, which my dad was Max, and their four other siblings grew up in Webb City schools, all graduated from the high school. Bill was a football hero. My brothers and Bill's girls also grew up in Webb City and graduated from the high school. Some from the old high school, which is now, I guess, the middle school or junior high, and others that here. Nick and I played football at Hatton Field. That's how old we were. George also played at Hatton Field. Underclassmen and visitors would dress in the old locker room or the dungeon underneath the concrete stands. Varsity members would get to dress in the good locker room. It was a dungeon too, but it had some light so you could see. My senior class was 1972, and we were the last to graduate from the old high school. 1973 will claim that they were the last ones, but they moved during the middle of the year. They had to move all the furniture from the old school to the new school. I think the principal called that physical education. I was also one of the classes that broke in the new football practice field. I call it the new football practice field. It's probably one that you know of. It was an old hay field that had been brush hogged for 20 years. When I say broke, that is what it did to us. There were more injuries from rocks, stogs, sticks, loose metal than any actual football injuries. George had none because he had a red jersey. He was a quarterback. No need to thank us. We knew we were paving the way for one of the greatest state dynasties in high school football.
Amen.
It was built on our blood, sweat, and tears. Literally. I still have the marks to prove. Lynn, Lisa, and Gretchen, and Ann also have their body parts. Valedictorian, homecoming queen, National Honor Society, cheerleading, yearbook editor, student council, and multiple other school organizations. Women's athletics were very limited back then, but Webb City would not have a women's golf team without the Myers girls. Success followed them through the university years and their careers. They followed their passion in journalism, law, art, and design. Lastly, the honor would be complete without Aunt Carla. She was the glue that held everything together. Running an active household of 5 girls and a husband with a successful practice was no small task. Even with many responsibilities, she was available to be a good friend to all. There were many times I experienced her kindness when it would be understandable for her to take a pass. I consider myself to be very fortunate to know such a wonderful family. Now, I will give the acceptance speech, which would have been given by my cousin Gretchen. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the 5 Myers girls, I want to thank the R7 School District in the selection committee for honoring our father. My sisters, Lisa, Lynn, Leslie, and Ann, and I have come from all over the country to be with you tonight to celebrate this moment and our father's legacy. I asked each of my sisters for one word they thought would describe our father. That request clearly failed because I got a page full of adjectives, including the catch-all, he is everything you'd wanted a father to be. But truly, he was. So it is only fitting that a human being, such as my father, would be put on the wall for the students to walk by every day to wonder, who is this man? They would find my father was a man who believed in something greater than himself. As a World War II bomber pilot, he risked his life for our country. The courage followed him into his life as a trial life, where he served people of the state, believing with an unshakable sense of justice in the power of the law to ferret out fairness and truth. Beyond his career, what truly defined him was his selflessness. You just heard many of his accomplishments, and I could go on with a list of others, but I won't. He truly was a giant in the state of Missouri and could have gone anywhere with his talent and drive, but he chose to come back to this community, wanting to help Webb City and be an even better place to live. And with all of his professional achievements, he remained a humble and modest human being, never speaking an unkind word about anyone. I had the privilege of working alongside him in his law office. I was the daughter who chose to follow his footsteps and become a trial lawyer, but every one of us carries his example with us. There are many lawyer books and movies that I love because the stories remind me of him. In a very famous one, To Kill a Mockingbird, there is a lawyer, Atticus Finch, who takes a client on with no ability to pay, no one wants to help, and he has no ability to help himself. He takes that client on because it's the right thing to do, and it is a just cause. But it is not without great personal sacrifice. Atticus is a man who values sympathy and fairness, teaches his children the importance of seeing things from other people's perspectives, and is a model of integrity, dignity, and honor, even when confronted with pettiness and injustice. My dad, in law and in life, was the real Atticus Finch. The plaque will serve as a reminder of the lasting impact he made. As we reflect upon life today, I hearken back to the courtroom scene in To Kill a Mockingbird when Reverend Skies asked Scout to stand for her father. Miss Jean Louise, stand up. Your father's passing. That's exactly how we feel about our father. That simple act of standing is a profound gesture of respect, not just for a man, but for what he stood for. I stand here on behalf of my sisters and all those whose lives he touched, in gratitude for the man he was. We honor him not for what he has accomplished, but for the way he lived, with integrity and conviction, always striving to make the world a better place. And, as we do, we stand in awe of the legacy he leaves behind. I humbly thank you and my sisters for this opportunity to speak on his behalf. Okay. All right. This may be a surprise. My cousin Lynn would have made this announcement. The family is going to create a $2,000 Myers Family STEM Education Scholarship for women. This scholarship was formed in honor of Carlin Merriman Myers and William Claude Myers Jr. and is to be received by a young woman graduating from Webb City High School who is interested in furthering her education in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics.
him or me?